Yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Connor. Welcome back to American Coffee Trip. Today I am obviously revisiting Black River Coffee Bar. That shot with the coffee bag next to the espresso is 100% a guess on what that espresso was. Was it representative? It just looked fucking cool in the shot, so I did it. And I need new coffee soon. That passenger... God... Honduras, Colombia, Guatemala? I don't know if I got those three right, but hell, that's what I saw, or in my brain, what I'm seeing. So I decided to get a single origin. I have never tried Brave coffee and tea at home, and these guys kind of went through a little bit of a story since the last time I was here, when I reviewed these guys, I don't know, a year ago. And that was back when I worked for 1A Coffee Roasters. Now back then, I actually delivered coffee here. I would do it probably once a month. I would close down a coffee shop in Dover. Then I would go down to Wilmington, pick up maybe like 50, 60 pounds of coffee, and then rip in my little Fiesta all the way up here in the back roads and drop it off later in the day. And it was a good gig. It's a good deal. And so back then, they actually used 3 different kinds of coffee. They still use Brave coffee and tea. They used 1A Coffee Roasters coffee. And they used, I believe, Rockingham Roasters. From that point, ever since I left 1A Coffee Roasters, the Dover coffee shop closed down permanently. It wasn't making enough money. And without kind of a dedicated person there just really wasn't much point in investing in a place like that that was losing money most of the year. Not to the fault of the coffee quality, although I'm sure that certainly took a dip because they just weren't able to staff it with people who were trained, but also just because of the isolation and how seasonal that area is. And the fact that year over year, we're getting less snow in general. Southern Vermont ski resorts and ski mountains are getting hit really badly. And the one saving grace is that the amount of snow that they're able to make is able to kind of upkeep with the demand. So that's kind of keeping things in order right now. Vermont has some of the best snow blowers anywhere, and that's out of necessity. You go down to places like in the Berkshires or, God's sake, in Pennsylvania, and it's a crapshoot. You know, those places are just closing down one after another. I hope the same doesn't happen to Vermont, but I think it's going to be a while before something that catastrophic happens. As far as these guys go, though, since 1A had to close down a location, and since 1A has had to focus on consolidating a little bit more, they're now just down to their main roasting shop. I believe they got a new roaster since then. They have a new espresso machine, and these guys only use Brave coffee and tea. Now these guys roast out of Waterbury, Vermont, right near, I mean that's just near Montpelier, so what do you got near there? Capitol Grounds, which I hope that the recovery was alright ever since the flooding that happened in Vermont. That was probably around a year ago as well. And a lot of places had to recover from flooding. I decided to go on a hike that day out to Red Loaf Wilderness. It's weird how some of these things are connected. Now, you can kind of see on the map here, these guys are not that old. Since 2014, they've been roasting coffee. And as far as news for me, today is October 19th, and some big things are coming up. I'm probably going to release this video today, and then continue to recycle some somewhat older content and stretch it out over a long period of time, because there are big things that are happening with me right now. I'm crossing my fingers that things are going to work out. I've got a really busy week ahead of me over the next week or so. I might do another one or two revisited videos. As far as new single sip content that's going to be coming out, it's still going to be in the foreseeable future. Now, I'm just as frustrated as any of you guys are who are looking for new single sip content, and I have to say that it's just going to take a bit for me to get to that point again, you know. And that's really frustrating for me to say, but at the same time, I'm setting that aside to focus more on getting the ship going, starting what I want to start that I'm not going to tell you guys until it happens, and hopefully just start really cranking them out. But until then, we're in beautiful Springfield, Vermont, and I've really progress that's happened in this city ever since I first started coming here. There's always been those beautiful waterfalls over there. There's still some abandoned buildings, but overall it seems like there is an influx of people that are moving into this area, and there's a relatively good pocket of cool businesses. You have the Copper Fox, which is a pretty cool restaurant in downtown. Across the street, over pretty much diagonal from where I'm sitting, you have the Springfield Cinema, which is family run and has location in Keene as well. I've watched a few movies there. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine and the new Beetlejuice movie, so it's a really cool spot. The popcorn's freaking fantastic. They butter it up, they salt it up, they give it the proper treatment that movie popcorn needs to have, especially since it's so damn expensive. And then you have the Springfield Co-op across the street, which any healthy local goods that you want to get, there's a lot of farms around here. In fact, when I was driving up here, I could see a view of Mount Escutney just a little bit north of me, which is absolutely gorgeous. I gotta say, leaf peeping is kind of on the decline now. People are starting to leave the area in general. We're starting to get into Vermont's stick season, which is not great at all. But, goddamn. Enough of that. Back to Black River Coffee Bar. I've got to say that I think they've maintained that quality that I was really hoping that they would after being absent from this place for quite a while. There's another coffee place that stopped using 1A coffee that I think definitely took a dip for the worse in quality, and I'm really happy to say that this isn't one of them. I think that Brave Coffee and Tea is a really smart choice for suppliers if you're looking for a good specialty coffee roaster to supply from if you don't roast it yourself. And I'm just going to give this a little taste. We got an espresso here. When I'm not doing single sip videos or second sip videos, you know, I always try to steer away from the 12-ounce latte because I drink enough of those damn things to basically feed me for an entire lifetime. So let's give this a sip. Wow, that is tart. That's really tart. Is it this? Guys, I think I matched the espresso with the bag properly. It's a little bit more citrusy than what these tasting notes would suggest. Orange, peach, and honey. I would maybe say, maybe I'm not matching it up perfectly, but I definitely get tasting notes of grapefruit, orange. I'm not getting the honey as much. It's very tart. It's a bodied espresso. It's a very acidic espresso, and it's not a very sweet espresso, so it's definitely not for everyone, but it's definitely well dialed in. There's no bitterness that's coming out of it. And it's actually kind of surprising that I'm seeing something like this be served as an espresso. I'm not into the crowd-pleasing espressos as much as a lot of people would be. Those milk chocolate, sweet, smooth espressos. I really like those, but I'm always kind of hoping and stoked and excited for those espressos that kind of give me a little kick. Those ones that are interesting, that have some more character to them. This is one of those. God damn. Whew. It's like if espresso is like a grapefruit concentrate. A little kick of caffeine and the little katoosh and freaking bada boosh. That is fantastic. Wow. I don't regret coming back here. In fact, if things work out well, I won't be back in Vermont for a long time. I know I'm kind of unkempt right now. I need a haircut pretty freaking bad. I need a whole gone do-over. But I've been going through my own character arc. I'm getting there. It's happening. The sun's right in my fucking eyes. But with that being said, guys, I still recommend Black River Coffee Bar. It's fantastic. And another one's going to be added on the second sip list. Whew. Coming up a year from now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.